Hey everybody, it's your friend Kevin, and this is your vibe of the day. I love doing that. I've always thought, well, what would it be like to get a round of applause? I've probably had one or two in my lifetime, but can't remember them. How are you? What's going on with you? I've been sitting here pondering and wondering what is the flavor of the day, and oddly enough, my my mind went to those early stand-up routines that Ellen DeGeneres did on the Tonight Show, where she's on the phone with God and she's dialing up the number. And of course, in her bit, she has the phone in one hand and the receiver in the other hand. Of course, nowadays you've got a device, or it's like this. So, kudos to God for creating cell phone towers and cell phones so that we can just dial direct. And even now, we've got Siri or whoever, or Alexa, or the Googler lady, a man, whatever you want to set her to, talking to us all the time. So we've come along, we've come a long way with that. But I was sort of thinking to myself while I'm pondering all of this, I wonder what people's idea of God is. Is it source energy, the universe? Is it in everything? Does it create everything? And it just seems to be this luscious, interesting smorgasbord of ideas. And are any of them right, or are any of them wrong? Initially, I myself would see God as being a man, a person. I think I got confused with where this whole idea that it says somewhere in scripture that God loved the world, that he sent his only son and became Jesus. And then, of course, growing up, me personally, all the images I ever saw of Jesus was a white man with blue eyes and curly, long, blonde hair. Well, then I got to thinking the man was born in Bethlehem, which is in the Middle East. How would he ever have blonde hair, blue eyes, and have this pale white skin? And then, of course, we see images of Mary, Jesus' mother, and the images I remember are pale skinned white woman. It's quite interesting. I don't recall ever seeing what Joseph looked like. I'm just babbling on about nothing, just thinking these are the curious things I have in my head when I wonder what were people thinking when they drew these photos of him. Anyway, I digress. Let's get right to the cards and see what we have going on. I'm going to continue using Radley Valentine's delightful fairy tarot because I think they're fun and exciting. Okay, let me bang them on the table, knock out yesterday's. All right, fairies, are you there? Fairies, angels, ancestors, spirits of the other realms. Thank you for reminding us that you're here, and thank you for delivering an upbeat, positive message that we can all go about our day with at this magical time of the year. That turned around, the Hermit. Interesting. So let me just go. I'm going to put that as a bonus card, this Hermit. I keep saying I'm going to do something about these lights, and I will, I promise. Let me just put these into 3 piles and pick one off the top. One, put them back together. Oh, here we go. And the Magician. Wow. Hermit and the Magician. 2 really powerful cards. So let's start with the Magician, since that's the one I chose, and then we'll put the Hermit's influence into it. See if we can pop him up on the little thing so it gets closer to. There we go. Well, I really do have to do something about these lights. So you can do anything. Take charge of your life. You can manifest what you need to be successful, or to be a success. Indeed. So then the Hermit card, which kind of is this bonus. Find or be a mentor and take a break from society. a commitment to your spiritual growth, which feels personal to me, but it could be also personal to you. And here's the so I would say, easily enough to interpret this reading for today, during this magical time of the year, what happens if you choose to really get into your inner personal self? You know, the hermit is one that does inner reflection, one that does that inner conversations, the chit chats with God on the telephone. Interesting that I should come up with that. And here comes these two cards. And in this image that let's see who did this, Howard David Johnson, this beautiful painting. You have what appears to be a nun or religious woman done in blue clothing, pink clothing, blue and pink being lovely colors, or I should say lavender, really lovely colors of the sixth and seventh chakras. And then hanging from one of the wings or her outstretched hand is the Star of David. And then at her feet are beautiful, gorgeous flowers in a garden. And then in the left hand is a scepter that is not just a lantern, which the hermit is always seen find the light within, but this one's got almost like a sparkler, like a magical sparkler coming out. And then, of course, you know, there's magical smoke and a mist coming from behind. So, what does this say in our modern world? This is Christmas. This is a magical time. This is a time that we celebrate, a time that we look at the accomplishments that we've got, and really a time to come into self-expression. Now is not the time to hold back. Now is not the time to say, I'll do this on Tuesday, I'll do this on Thursday. We have an energy going on, things that we've been used to, things that we've been up for, the traditional way of doing things, one foot in front of the other. Now we're sort of at this bit of a clip. We're now almost a trot. And the manifestation of time and space, reality that we find ourselves in, is speeding up. So this is not really the time, or perhaps this is the only time, to reflect, to get quiet, when the humdrum, busy, one foot in front of the other time is slowing down on the work scenario, the career scenario, and we get to do that in a reflection. So for those of you that says, well, I really feel like I need to change, I really feel like there's something coming up for me, I really feel like I'm expanding and progressing, and I've heard from some beautiful personal friends and clients who sit in the chair and say, I'm sifting and sorting, and my relationships are taking a change, and my, inner relationships, romantic relationships, friend relationships. Some folks are finding new friends. Some folks are finding a new sense of purpose in their career. Some folks are embracing something truly creative. And not just creative like I think I'll knit a blanket or I think I'll make an apple pie. This is people who are going after big things. I want to open a business and I'm going to create this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make things that put smiles on people's faces. I'm going to turn around and go back to work full time and be of service at a job. We are entering this place of where there is purpose, where there is a purpose-filled life. So what does that mean if you're sitting on the fence and you're not quite sure if you should have a purpose? Well, I believe everybody came into this world with a purpose. And somehow or another, we kind of got comfortable with our feet under the table, thinking, you know what, my belly's full, good house, nice job, blah, blah, blah. And then the recent issues that have affected the world have wrinkled up the sheets and create a bit of a kerfuffle. And in this kerfuffling, you have those who wish to keep their feet under the table and say, no, not me. Not doing that. No, you're not, no. Because they have this need to stay safe. They've got this need to stay in fear. They've got this need to stay put, to not grow, to not find out what their purpose is, because it's easy. Quite easy to sit back in the lazy boy with a remote control, click, 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 click through all these mindless channels. But then there's this smaller group that are curious, that are bored with that have had enough of that. It's the curious people I'm interested in, the ones that think, I know there's something bigger out there for me and I wish to know what that is. Good, because you don't have to know everything today. You don't have to know everything next week. You don't really have to know everything by January. But what you can do is sit right there with that. I know there's something out there for me that's bigger than what I realize now. And thank you for presenting all the options for me. Imagine if you are curious about what that looks like. Imagine that you walk into what used to be a Woolworths and there's the pick and mix counter, and to a 7-year-old have no clue what candy to put in the bag. So they want a bit of everything because they see it. Imagine the child who's now 3 or 4 sitting underneath the Christmas tree thinking, my goodness, the garden has come into the living room and it's been lit up with lights and pretty baubles and all kinds of lovely things. And then there are these gifts under it. And that 3 and 4-year-old is in awe of that. There's an opportunity here. So start there. Start with what it is you believe you are in awe of, that lights you up, that says, oh my goodness, this is just too much fun. I'm having a good time. And shake that barrel of creativity. Get into the feeling of wonderment, which is where we have the magician that shows up. The magician shows up and says, whoops, sorry. The magician shows up and says, I'm here. I'm up for an adventure, but I'm the one that's going to make that adventure happen. I can't sit back in my lazy boy with a remote control for too much longer. It's getting old. And then you have the hermit that says, okay, you want to know where your path is? You want to know where your soul path is? Hint, hint. We light the candle inside. We get the scepter going. We wave our sparkler about and go, woo, let's go. That's what I'm talking about. 2 major arcana cards in the fairy tarot that is saying, get off your sweet butt or get on your sweet butt, meditate. Something funny in a side note, yesterday, a good friend of mine reminded me that somehow on the solstice they did a world meditation. No, they did a global meditation for world peace. And the comment she made was, well, they did it last year. And in my ratchetness, I said, well, they probably need to stop because look what happened. We didn't get too much world peace this year. Although last year we had a whole lot less world peace. So maybe there was a little bit that happened. And yes, I am up for world peace. While I'm taking a shower this morning, I'm thinking to myself, I think I need to do a TED talk. And then I'm doing this out loud in the shower, and I think I need to do a TED talk. And then part of me, the other part, said, what are you going to do a TED talk on? Who wants to listen to what you've got to say, right? There you go. There's those 2 sides. The one that wants to stay comfortable with the click, 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 click going through the TV channels. Well, no, I want to do a TED talk. What should I do a TED talk on? Okay, maybe it's growing up gay in the 60s when you were not allowed to be that way. Oh, okay, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's finding your voice. Maybe it's understanding that, society have this problem with anyone that doesn't look like them. Oh, and maybe that's it. Okay, yeah. And I just kept going with that. I don't know what the TED Talk's about. I think the TED Talks is about accepting your individuality and accepting who you are and being who you are and saying yes. In the morning, I might want to be the carnival queen. In the evening, I just might want to be, whoever you want to be. I've often find it wonderful and fantastic that people are now embracing that inner woman or that inner man or that inner person who's not really conforming to anything, but just being who they are, where they are, with what they want. This idea that we're supposed to do a certain thing or be a certain way or have a career that works at the same job, it's okay if that's what you find yourself doing, but my goodness, there's a lot of opportunity out there. So let's get to today's Melody Beatty journey and see if it ties in with these 2 cards. Probably will somehow. Yesterday we said reduce the stress. Today it says practice the power of respect. Trying to think, does this work? And I'm listening to the spirits over here who's saying, just read, Kevin. All right, thank you. You know, they do have, my spirit guides do have a sense of humor. And I can tell some of them come through Siri, and I have heard that too. I've been, sitting in the living room sometimes, and I'll say something, and here comes the Siri lady or the Siri man, with some kind of crazy comment. It's quite interesting. It is a quiet power, one that caught me by surprise on my journey. I had heard about it before, but somehow in the shuffle of life, I'd forgotten it. Respect. Respect is a spiritual power, a power of the heart, one that's closely connected to gratitude, yet somehow different. It is an attitude towards people, towards life, towards ourselves that only takes a moment to convey, yet somehow has far-reaching effects. It is more than free people from themselves. It encourages them to be their best. It honours people's life. It honours the mysterious connections we have to the divine. Have a series of experiences caused you to forget respect? In your anger, did you decide that certain persons, groups of people were undeserving of respect? Has familiarity with yourself or another caused you to forget to practice respect? Let go of the past. It's over. It's done. But your power to transform your future has just started. Respect and honor yourself. Respect the needs of your body and the needs of your heart and the dictates of your soul. Respect the lives of others. Respect the gift of life. Bow in spirit to all you meet. Bow to the gifts of the universe. The sun, the moon, the earth, the sea, and the stars. Honor all that lives, the trees, the wildflowers, the eagle soaring high, the deer in the woods, the squirrel scurrying up the tree, the June bug that lights on your shoulders. Each has its place in this world. So do you. Discover the power of respect, then practice it often. Let it change your world. Wow. That, wow, is something else. Respect. And it begins with yourself. There's days where you might want to chuck on a set of clothes. Is it respecting your body? Is it respecting who you are? I'm not saying that every day you have to go booted and suited. But there is that part of you that wants to make the effort because you really are worth the effort. You really deserve the effort. You really do deserve to wear those clothes that fit really well. You really do deserve to dine and eat the food that nourishes your body. You really are always in the presence of whatever you believe the divine is. And the divine will become whatever that is that you want it to be. It's quite interesting. It is not separate from us. The divine steps in where it's always been. All right, my friends, until next time, lots of love. Bye.